Y'all know who it is. Look at the intro. Gaskin, no! And today, we want to talk about something I have a personal interest in, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now you might be wondering why on earth I'd have a personal interest in talking about this random English Premier League team that's been wallowing in a relegation battle all season. And the answer to that is, I have the great pleasure of being a committed and entirely pleased supporter of the team. So I feel like there's some players that I should, give my praise to, but there's even more that I feel like I want to vent some frustrations on because we have not been good this year, Therefore, we're going to be doing a rating on each and every Wolves player this season overall from worst to best. The ratings are out of 10 based upon how I believe each player has performed in the season. Now we could wait till the end of the season to be doing this ranking, but I feel like we already got a good idea of how the season's gone, right? Like, not much is going to change between now and the end of the year, so we might as well just get to it, in my mind. We shouldn't get relegated now. We on 37 points or whatever it is, so I guess we could just get to it. But hey, that's enough of the chat. Let's get right into the video now. We're doing a Wolves season review and player ratings. Starting with... God, this should be fun. I want to have to do it for real. But we got a concerning surplus of individuals that have no business being in the team, the league, the sport. They just need to pack their bags, in my mind, and go to Shenzhen SC or something, bro. Like, I've had enough. Raul Alonso Jimenez Rodriguez. I hate it had to be you, gang. We all fully understand why you've fallen off like this, and it is a miracle that you're able to still play after that horrific injury. But we need to acknowledge how useless this guy is now. The man is washed. He's finished, he's vanquished, any word you can think of for no longer good, that would be him. And like I said, we understand, but oh my days, he has to go. You literally forget that bro is on the pitch half the time. You might as well be playing with 10 men and save us all the false hope that he'll actually do anything. He seems to never pop up in the right spot. He goes missing on the attack. Regularly, he isn't pressing, he isn't an aerial presence, he isn't holding up play, he can't finish, he keeps drifting wide even though he has the pace of an obese tortoise. What is the point? Thanks for the memories, Raul, but it's time to go. 3.5 out of 10. Oh, João Moutinho. It's time to retire and drink vino on a beach or something, man. I can't even be mad because he's about 95 years old. And he still shows that he has that class on the ball. But we need to call a spade a spade. Like, the guy's finished. And he's been awful all season. It's not his fault that we toss a senior citizen in the midfield to do a shift. But, he's been doing his best James St. Patrick impression all season. The man is a ghost in midfield. He just don't got the legs to play in the league anymore. And it shows whenever he plays. We look slower as a side. He can't move the ball. We can't press with him, and we just keep getting carved through the midfield like no one is there. It's gotta be a 4 out of 10. Please let this poor man rest. Guedes was a bad signing, bruh. Like, that didn't work out at all. We wasted over 30 million on the guy. We were like, yo, you want to play half decent? And he was like, nah, I don't really feel like it. And that was it. Like, we sent him out on loan, and that was it. He's bad, he's a waste of money, he's 4 out of 10. Why is Johnny at the club in big 2023? Like, he used to be alright, and then he had 2 ACL injuries, now he's very much not alright. And then he just kinda exists in the team for no reason. Like, at best he's putting in a meh performance, but more often than not he's gonna stink it up when he plays, so it's 4.5 out of 10. Nathan Collins is a weird one, He was getting gassed early in the year, and then he completely fell off after that first month or so. Like, I just think he's a bit of a lemon. He makes a lot of mistakes. He got that wild red card on Grealish early in the year. He's just not ready to be a week in, week out player. And I don't know, he just hasn't really moved me all that much. And he clearly was not moving Lopetegui because he moved him to the bench when we bought Craig Dawson in January. So he hasn't been terrible, but you know, I'm feeling a slightly below average 5 out of 10 for him, with room to improve for next season. Pedro Neto is a damn shame. Imagine a few years ago thinking he'd be ranked this low. The injuries aren't helping him, we know. He spent the majority of this year out with that ankle injury. But even when he plays, he looks like a shadow of his former self. He can't get a run of games together, he has no cutting edge anymore, he lacks that sharpness and drive he used to have, he ain't creating any chances or goal contributions. I'm not giving up yet, but it's a season to forget for Neto, 5 out of 10. Hwang is a hard worker, Hwang can press, Hwang can really run, Hwang can even score a goal or two maybe, but he's never gonna be a good player for Wolves, you know? He's fine as a squad player, I think, but he's just kinda meh in his technical ability and passing, which is what holds him back despite his pace and undeniable effort. Also, I had to put him in this bottom tier just for that bozo moment he had against Newcastle when he single-handedly booted a big win for us out the window. So yeah, it's a 5.5 out of 10 for Hwang Hee-chan. I gotta throw in Boubacar Traore too, just because, like, where is he? Like, he looked promising when he first came in, even though he was a very raw prospect, and he was very inexperienced. He had really good physical qualities in midfield to see potential in him. And then he just kinda disappeared on us. Like, where'd he go, man? He went off the grid, no Playboy Cardi. Does this guy still exist or what? It's a 5.5 out of 10, and send the Amber Alert out for bro. Moving on to the players I didn't loathe on the pitch all season long. This is the good but not great tier where we prove I'm not always negative. Diego Costa at Wolves is a fever dream. Like, who would have thought that would ever happen? And he's not even terrible too, even though he's old and washed up. The effort is always there, and he can still adequately hold the ball up, which is a void that's been in the team for ages. It's a respectable 6 out of 10 for the big man. Here's another missing in action king. Where is Ryan Ait-Nouri exactly? He's such a talented left back, he has loads of potential, great speed, a knack for creativity, the dribbling is outrageous, and had been improving that defensive aspect to his game that had been admittedly very inconsistent at times. But where did he go? The last few months of the season, and Ait-Nouri is nowhere to be found, and no one understands why. For that reason, and due to the fact that he is defensively very inconsistent, I'll have to go an average 6 out of 10, despite his clear offensive upside. Totti has shocked me a little bit. He quietly does a really solid job whenever he gets called upon. And he's still relatively young at just 24 years old, and he's already performing very well for his first full season in a top league. You know, he's good, not amazing, but it's promising. 6.5 out of 10, keep it up, gango. Pablo Sarabia is a January signing who was mad cheap, only like 5 million or something, and he's shown the quality he has already, especially that creativity we've been lacking. He only has 1 goal as of right now, but once he settles in a little bit more, I can see him getting a lot more consistent with his goal involvement, or at least we hope so, right? But he's been pretty decent to start, 6.5 out of 10. João Gomez, I love this man. Oh my god, he wanted to be here. He came here. He shows that passion, that aggression. He shows that vision. He wins that ball so much. Oh man, what a guy. What a guy, João Gomez. He's hardly played too, and he's still super young, new to the league. He's only gonna get better. 6.5 out of 10. Jose Sa, man, he's actually a really good shot stopper, even though he can't really distribute like that. I'ma keep it short and sweet. You're a good keeper, you've had a pretty good season. Just please stop giving away pens. Oh my god, I can't take it, bro. 6.5 out of 10. Tighten up. Matheus Cunha, big up, man. Most expensive signing for Wolves ever. 50 bills is kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie, but you can kind of understand it because he's clearly very talented. He has started quite well, and you can see his physical qualities, you know, the pace, the power, the dribbling, but I don't think we've seen the true best form of him just yet. I think he's best when he's playing off of a number 9, and the problem with that is that Wolves still don't have a solid number 9 in their system. So Cunha keeps getting shoehorned into this kind of striker role that he just doesn't seem very comfortable with. The poor finishing also knocks him down a few notches and prevents him from being in that upper echelon of Wolves players this year, but it's still a 6.5 out of 10. Now hear me out, I know Podence is joint top scorer for us, but like, that's not exactly hard. Like, ooh, you got 6 goals with your bad self, you know, like, it's not really moving me that much. And then you couple it with the fact that he is remarkably inconsistent and remarkably annoying with his failed little back heels and bicycle kicks all the time. And then you get into that cycle with Podence, where he comes back from some random knocker injury, and he's garbage for weeks while being in and out of the lineup, and then he'll finally have a good game, he'll score a big goal because he has 6 this season, and the fan base is like, oh, rah rah, Podence is essential to the team, blah blah blah. And then he gets another knock, and the cycle repeats. I'm not impressed! I'm sorry, I'm not! He has scored some goals, so I will give the credit where it's due, but it's still a 6.5 out of 10. You know, coming into this, I did not expect to put this many players in the top and final tier, but here we are! Maybe I'm not as miserable as I thought, you know, or it's just Lopetegui hype! Got me praising a third of the squad, look how well he's done with his team, man. Hugo Bueno has been hella bueno if you ask me. He's only 20 years old and he's looking like our starting left back for next year maybe? That's some really promising development. He has a wonderful cross on him and he's been very solid defensively in every game he's appeared in. Like, I really cannot remember a time where Bueno didn't play good in a game that he was in, which is a testament to how good the kid can be. He's only played in 18 games, however, so I can't rank him too high, but it's still 7 out of 10. Adama Traore is my guy, man. Anyone who knows me knows this is my guy. We don't care about that end product. We don't care about none of that. We're here for the pace, we're here for the power and vibes. No, but seriously, he is one of a kind though. The power he has and the ability to bring the ball up the field from almost any scenario cannot be ignored just because he turns into a bozo when it's time to play the final ball or take a shot. I don't care what none of y'all think, Adama will always have a place in the Wolves squad, even though he's probably about to leave in the summer. Regardless, I don't care, it's a 7 out of 10 for my king. Matheus Nunes is a very, very good player. I know, expert analysis, right? Like, no duh. But I mean, he's arguably the most skilled and talented player in our team right now. And he started to really settle in during the second half of the season, which is why he is ranked up here. The progressive dribbling, the box-to-box work, and a crazy finish for his first goal. He really does have it all, except for passing. I mean, if Matheus can figure out how to pass a ball properly and work on his vision to match his outrageous dribbling skills, it is up for the league. 7 out of 10. One of the big men at the back, Max Kilman. What a solid season for him. He is still a little passive and not always able to keep up with the best attackers in the game, but he's still a very good option at center back. He's unbelievably comfortable on the ball, he's good in the air, and I'm seeing a whole lot of positives for a guy who is still pretty young for a defender at only 25 years old. 7.5 out of 10. Lamina! He is him. What a great January signing. He's an anchor in that midfield and he's always breaking up the play. He's brought a presence to the midfield that was clearly lacking for years. You can see the difference when he isn't in the team, it just doesn't look the same. This Wolves team needs Lamina and his tackling ability and his energy and his strength, all of that. 8 out of 10 for Mario Lamina. Nelson Semedo. Okay, hear me out. I know this is a controversial take to say the least, but the way I see it, Semedo is almost always available and ready to put in at least a good performance if you ignore the 2 disaster class games he dropped against Brighton this year, but hey, we don't worry about that. He is consistent at that right back position. He gets up and down the wing quite well and he's always been a very underrated defender for us for years now. He's always near the top of the tackling leaderboards of the league. So even though Nelson Semedo can be frustrating, like in those 2 Brighton games, but I think He's been a very solid piece for the team in a year where nothing is solid or consistent ever. So it's 8 out of 10. Yo, Craig Dawson is a beast. I hear we're signing the man in January, right? And I'm like, okay. Like, I swear everyone just always assumed he was some alright average defender, and I didn't really care. But now I get why West Ham fans were metaphorically crying in the shower when they lost him. He is a wall at the back. He gets his head on everything into the box. He's always positioned properly to make a tackle or block a shot, and he is a true leader at the back and the key communicator that Wolves have been missing since Connor Cody left. And he scored a damn goal. Like, the man plays center back and he scored a goal. He's doing more offensively than half the bozo attackers in our team. He actually knows where the goal is. What a great signing this was. 8 out of 10 for big Craig Dawson. There was only one man to be the highest rated player for Wolves, right? Our leader, our king, our undisputed best player who we are going to miss so dearly when he is gone. I'm obviously talking about Dexter Lembikolo. I'm playing. I'm talking about Ruben Neves. The class this man oozes on the football pitch is outstanding, and I will always maintain that he is extremely underrated. I don't know how we held on to him for this long without the bigger clubs coming to like break down our door to buy him or something, man. Just watch him play, he's outrageous! His passing range is unbelievable. He almost never misplaces those cross-field passes, over-the-top through balls, you name it. He's solid defensively in his positioning and tackling, and he's able to both build the play up from the back and recycle possession in the attacking zone incredibly well. The only thing he ever really lacked was pace, but I mean, he doesn't really need it. He has also pitched in with 6 goals to tie for our highest scorer, despite playing with a deep-lying midfield role. And I know 6 goals isn't a lot, we already talked about that, but it's really good for a deep-lying midfielder. I know Neves is gone this year, and I know we've played pretty well without him lately, and we have heavily invested into the midfield to prepare for life without him, but it's Ruben Neves, man. Like, we cannot replace him, man. What are we gonna do? He's undeniably the best player I have ever seen play for Wolves, and his departure will truly feel like the end of an era. I hope he joins a top team and starts getting the respect he so dearly deserves. Ruben Neves, 8.5 out of 10. And that's everybody. Not as bad as I predicted, but we obviously still got a few players that need to go. But luckily we have some diamonds in the rough that make me feel relatively optimistic for next season. Now I gotta say, we started the video before whatever the hell happened at Brighton on the weekend. Oh my god, knock everyone's rating down to 0, holy! But no, on a real note, these are the rankings that I give to the Wolves squad in what has been a tough roller coaster of a year. Hopefully next year I can hand out some 9s and 10s and talk about how we gonna go crazy in the Europa League. Or man can dream at least. But yeah, that's it everybody. Until next time. Y'all know who it is. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that. I'm out.